guys, I want to ask both of you. Bonds says that people should lay off A-Rod. Bigger dope, Bonds or A-Rod?
I'm going A-Rod. Barry Bonds, I think, was in his quest for the home run title. He went and he pushed the envelope. He used the clear.
And the cream.
And he was...
and anything else that I think
he was underhanded, but I don't think that he tried to hide that fact very much. And A-Rod, to me, has been the serial liar from the start. And so Bonds is a son of a gun, but he's a son of a gun. And A-Rod wanted to be beloved and would tell any story in the effort to be beloved.
And that's why I think A-Rod's the bigger dope. A-Rod is narcissistic.
Right, there you go.
Incredibly narcissistic to the point where he didn't really understand that what he was doing and saying and all the lies, he thought he could get away with it. Bonds was just a cheater.
Yeah.
Bonds was just an out-and-out cheater and didn't give a damn about anybody else. A-Rod cared what everybody else thought, but didn't understand why they thought what they thought about him.
Yeah, okay, the first time I ever met A-Rod, he was playing for Seattle, and he took 55 minutes to talk to me, far more time than I needed, to tell me all about himself and build a story about himself.
He wanted to be loved so badly, but didn't know how.
And the first time I ever met Bonds, I told him that his father was a big hero of mine when I was a little bitty kid. And in the first sentence, young Bonds dropped the F-bomb on me, like, I don't effing care.
Yeah, he was just a shit.
Barry
Bonds was a shit. He really was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, always. What's kind of forgotten in all of this, and you were talking about Seattle and everything, the only time I was really ever around, I've been around A-Rod, but there was a moment on the street, down the street, where I was alone with him, because people may not remember this, some of you, A-Rod could have possibly come and played for the Colorado Rockies.
Yes, he could have. You guys were just talking movies. I would remember running in and out of a movie, working on a column because A-Rod was being
squired.
Remind me about this. I don't remember the story.
He was choosing between, he was with Texas at that point. He was leaving Texas. No, he was getting ready. He chose Texas.
He was leaving Seattle.
Yeah, he was leaving Seattle.
That's the point.
And he narrowed it down to 4 or 5 teams, and one of them, the Rockies, showed some real interest in him. So he came and visited Coors Field. It was a snowy day. I always remember that. So I went over there, and Jerry McMorris and Charlie Montfort were showing him around and talking to him, and they were talking about the parameters of the contract. And there was a possibility he would have come here. He went to Texas instead.
You don't think that was Scott Boras creating leverage?
No, I
think there was some legitimate interest on both
sides.
Because
you have to kind of go back in this. Jerry McMorris genuinely wanted to reward the fans.
He did.
And they had a lot of money in their pocket from having the biggest crowds in the history of baseball. Literally.
Over 4 million the first couple of years.
And I think it got a little too much for their blood, because the number was 25 million, but they kind of knew that going in, and instead of spending the money on A-Rod, they spent it on a couple of pitchers. And that's the history of the Rockies and how things could have gone a totally different way, because I think A-Rod wasn't looking forward. A-Rod wasn't looking for the big city. No. He was comfortable in Seattle. He was looking for the big money.
Right.
And I think he was trying to stay, I don't want to say under the radar, but he was considered the best baseball player out there, and he would have been the shortstop for the Rockies forever. He went to Texas, and you know the rest of the story. But so was he using performance-enhancing drugs then? I don't know. I don't think he started using them until he went to Texas. And not to push that story on, but there were guys playing for the Texas Rangers that were already into performance-enhancing drugs, and he may have been introduced to it down there. I don't know. But Bonds, on the other hand, Bonds only did it for one reason. He was pissed at Sosa and McGuire.
Yep.
Well, I don't get
his thunder.
Yes.
And so he went off and said, okay, I'll show those guys. And you're right. He just, okay, I'm going to stick it in your face. My head's now going to be bigger than the globe. My head will be the 10th planet in the universe. Yeah. So everybody knew. I mean, Mark can tell you, you went into the locker room. Everybody that went in the clubhouse would
Couldn't
go,
stand him.
God, that guy's got the biggest head in the world. So,
All right, that segment's sponsored by John Elway Chevrolet on South Broadway, Colorado's #1 Chevrolet dealer.